This is where you'd expect to find Manchester United striker Marcus Rashford. And not here, helping out at the Fair Share Food charity, his partner in a personal campaign to help poor families feed their kids. It all started back in the spring, when the economic impact of COVID-19 became clear.
Prime Minister.
For Prime Minister Boris Johnson, it has been a real political headache. Already spending billions to support the economy, his initial refusal to extend school meal vouchers for 1.4 million poor kids through the summer holidays didn't look good. So he backed down, 1-0 to Rashford, popular acclaim and an award from the Queen. But he didn't stop there.
I think what I'd like to do now that I'm in this position is just speak directly to the Prime Minister and, you know, just really ask for the vouchers to be extended at least until October half-term, because I think that's what the families need.
But aware of its mounting debt, the government voted against extending the vouchers for the current half-term and Christmas holidays, insisting extra money is already there to help local councils. Cue another political storm. Up and down the country, local cafes and restaurants are stepping up with voluntary contributions. There's an online petition, and even Manchester United's deadly rivals are full of admiration.
So I hope his mother is really proud of him. I don't know him, but even I am. And he plays for United, which makes it really tricky. But it's really an absolutely wonderful, wonderful thing.
The pressure on the government to perform another U-turn is mounting. But the Prime Minister insists he understands.
I haven't spoken to Marcus since June, but as I say, I think that what he's doing is terrific. We don't want to see children going hungry this winter, this Christmas, certainly not as a result of any inattention by this government, and you're not going to see that.
Marcus Rashford is proving himself just as skillful at political campaigning as he is at scoring goals. Even some of Boris Johnson's own MPs sense the danger from his relentless attacks. In the current climate, a campaign which combines childhood hunger with a popular sports star and skillful social media, it's proving almost impossible to defend against. Simon McGregor-Wood, TRT World, London.
Well, for more, let's go to Hilary Ingham, who's a senior lecturer at the Department of Economics at Lancaster University. Welcome to the program, Hilary. Now, can we start with Marcus Rashford's, I guess it really is an impressive campaign to extend free meals to children from the UK's poorest families. I mean, it might seem like quite an easy win for Boris Johnson's government, but I guess he's also under a lot of economic pressure as well with mounting debt as a result of the pandemic. But do you think ultimately Johnson should really just agree to fund this program?
Well, I think this one has really hit him rather sideways. I mean, he didn't seem to think this was likely to be the reaction when he said he wasn't going to fund these school meals. I mean, you know, you're looking at £150 million, but that would cover 1.4 million children. Obviously, Marcus Rashford is incredibly popular at the minute. The fact that he's been seen, as your coverage showed, with the Fair Share Food charity, and, you know, Jurgen Klopp is supporting him, even though he plays for a rival team. It's really quite difficult. I mean, I think Boris Johnson was relying on the fact that he did give £63 million to hardship funds for local councils, but of course they're now coming back and saying that's already spent. The money's gone on PHE equipment and even on things such as mortuaries. Also, there was the £20 a week increase in universal credit that they got in April, but it doesn't come anywhere near the popularity that Marcus Rashford has got with his campaign to fund these free school meals for children, not only during this half term, but of course over the Christmas holidays, which really aren't that far off.
Now, can I ask you now about the internal revolt that Boris Johnson is facing from within his own party? We know that a lot of those members are representing people in the north of England, which has traditionally supported Labour in some areas for decades. Now that the region is subject to some of the toughest lockdown restrictions in the country, do you expect Boris Johnson will stump up the cash for more money in that area in order to placate some of his internal critics?
I think he's going to have to do something because, of course, as you pointed out, these MPs are sitting in so-called red wall seats, which would historically have been held by Labour, but switched to the Conservative Party at the last election. And of course, if you look at the regions that are in Tier 3, i.e. those subject to the strictest regulations, all bar Nottingham, which is, in the Midlands, are in the north. And I think the two things are that obviously last week Andy Burnham, the mayor of Manchester, was very vocal in not wishing to be placed in this severe tier 3 and also received a lot of media coverage. And I think the other issue that I think the MPs have stressed is that there doesn't seem to be any roadmap for how we get out of this. These restrictions have been placed upon the northern regions, but how long they're going to last and what conditions need to be met before certain of the restrictions can be relaxed is not at all clear. And of course, Christmas is coming up, which is very important to many, many families. And people are worried that plans are going to be very much thrown into disarray. And there is no indication that things are going to be easier by December.
Okay, Hilary Ingham from Lancaster University. We'll have to leave it there, but thank you again for joining us on Money Talks.